Hey, it's been a while. Unless you've tuned into one of my few inconsistent streams over the past few years, this is probably the first time you're hearing my voice in quite some time. Hell, it's been 3 years since my last Brawlhalla video on this channel, and everything I've made in between about League of Legends was pretty low quality. So why am I making this video? Why am I suddenly back with a video after a seemingly indefinite hiatus from content? Well, there is a reason, but I'll get to that later. I wanted to start with a retrospective on everything I've done from my first Brawlhalla tournament up until now. Don't worry, I won't bore you with the painstaking details of each and every single moment, but I want to reflect on how I got here, not only for myself, but for everyone who's been with me along the way. Whether you're someone who knows me personally, or just a fan who's followed my career, whether that's from Brawlhalla, League of Legends, or anything I've done in between, I promise this video will be worth your time. On April 9th, 2015, I installed a game called Brawlhalla. Back then, the game looked like this, and sounded like this. The following day, Taros would be released, introducing the first ever axe-wielding character into the game. The idea of a bow as a weapon was a community meme. Tournaments would determine seeding by playing a free-for-all match, and dodges were 100% invincible with equal distance in all directions. And yet, despite all that, I fell in love. And by harnessing the power of being a middle schooler with more time on their hands than anybody else, I got pretty damn good. In June of 2015, I entered my first tournament, the Sweet and Salty Saturday Smackdown, and placed 5th. Most of you probably won't recognize most of the names in this bracket, but I'd wager even the newest of Brawlhalla players would recognize who won. Over the next 4 years, Brawlhalla would change my life in ways I couldn't have imagined. For the first time in my life, I really felt like I was good at something that I cared about. I was always a good student in school, but Brawlhalla fulfilled me in a way that I hadn't felt before. I was somebody. It didn't matter that that somebody was a perennial runner-up or 4th placer in a niche internet gaming community. It gave me much-needed confidence in myself and my personality. I met tons of amazing people, a few of whom I still talk to and play games with today. I had genuine fans who would love to watch me play and celebrate my victories while mourning my losses. And those losses were rough, especially as a teenager who didn't really know how to manage my emotions. But the few moments where I felt like I really succeeded, like at BCX in 2016 or during my Winter Championship run with Core in 2018, taught me that I loved competing and created moments that I'll never forget. Over time, the field caught up. The skill advantage that I had gained during my hours in the beta gave way to a stubbornly aggressive playstyle. And while that playstyle netted me plenty of fans, it didn't particularly age well as the game and its community matured. My placements declined, and I was dedicating more time to other things, like founding and developing an esports club at my high school. On June 29, 2019, just a few weeks after the 4-year anniversary of my very first tournament, I traveled to and entered my last Brawlhalla tournament as a pro player, CEO 2019. After running into Sandstorm in pools, I'd ultimately win a few more sets before bowing out at 13th place, marking the end of my time as a competitor in Brawlhalla. I still play Brawlhalla every once in a while. Only within the last year did I finally stop my streak of logging on every season to hit Diamond, and I've actually had some pretty decent early season runs to high elo. I don't see myself competing again, and if I did, it would probably be as some sort of legacy event focused specifically on old school players. Wink wink, nudge nudge, Blue Mammoth Games. Who knows, maybe I'll boot up my stream and play a few games with viewers. Keep your eyes peeled, but I wouldn't expect any official return to form anytime soon. At the end of the day, the biggest driving force behind me retiring from Brawlhalla was that I was going off to college. With that change in my life, I would officially become a collegiate athlete. Not for Brawlhalla, but for League of Legends. I figured it was only right for me to dedicate my time to getting better at the game that I'd actually be competing in for the next 4 years, and so the League of Legends leg of my journey began. Actually, it's probably more accurate to say that it had resumed, since I had already been playing League of Legends on and off since I was 8 years old, having mostly taken a break to focus on Brawlhalla from 2015 onwards. To condense 4 years of grinding and competition in the most mentally taxing video game I've ever played is a real challenge. If my time with Brawlhalla revealed some of my biggest flaws as a person, League pushed them to the brink and forced me to confront them. My aversion to failure and hypercritical self-talk only became more striking in a game with 4 teammates whose actions I couldn't control. I had to learn to appreciate the process of getting incrementally better game by game, rather than focusing on wins and losses, because League just doesn't allow consistent results like that. I'll sum up my time playing Collegiate League of Legends with a single defining moment. In July of 2021, my team got invited to the Gateway Legends Invitational, a 16-team tournament housing only the best collegiate teams in the nation. We weren't even initially invited, only making it in as a replacement team for a team that couldn't make it. After getting demolished by the second best team in the tournament in our first round match, the mental issues that plagued me in Brawlhalla crept back in. My poor play in the upcoming series felt inevitable, and if it wasn't for my head coach and esports director at the time reassuring me and bringing me back to reality, it probably would have been a disaster. With expectations for our team at their lowest, we began our series versus the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and the next 2 hours would be some of the best League of Legends I've ever played in my life. It all culminated in a Game 3 where I single-handedly led my team to victory, dropping over 13 kills and pulling off a 3-on-5 base defense in the final hour. In my mind, this was the moment I finally conquered my mental narrative of being a choker in big moments. I realized what I was truly capable of, and when I finally completed my climb to 1000 LP Challenger in 2023, I felt that I had done everything I wanted to in League. My own personal journey was complete, all the way from the lowest rank in the game to top 200 in North America. By far the biggest thing I've learned from League is my passion for coaching. During my climb, I had so many amazing coaches, and I never would have improved as much as I did without their support and constant reassurance. In an effort to help others in the same way that they helped me, I started coaching on Metafy, and despite feeling like I'm done being serious about League as a player, I still want to continue coaching others along their own individual journeys. So what now? If I'm not going back to Brawlhalla, and I'm done taking League seriously, what the heck am I going to dedicate my time to? More importantly, to return to the topic of the video, why am I even making it to begin with? Well, let me introduce you to Project Loki. Well, sort of. The game is still in pre-alpha, and as a result it's under an NDA, so what I can tell you about it in this video is pretty limited. What I can say is that Project Loki is an inventive mashup of genres being developed by Theorycraft Games. Think League of Legends meets Battlerite meets Apex Legends. Squads of 4 drop out of a plane, collect loot and abilities, and ultimately engage in fast-paced, highly skill-expressive teamfights until only one team remains. When I say that Project Loki is the most passionate I've felt about a game in a long time, I mean it. The game itself is already loads of fun despite being very early in development. The community is tight-knit and inspired, and the developers are so open-minded and communicative that it reminds me of what I love so much about Blue Mammoth Games. I've spent every minute of the playtest I've had access to thus far playing the game, and even outside of the playtest, I've been becoming a part of the community and even making content that I can't share currently due to the NDA. I'm sure you can see where this is going. The reason I wanted to make this video was to celebrate where I've come from, while also announcing that I'll be creating content for Project Loki as soon as I'm able. Regardless of which point in my journey you join me at, I want to encourage you to stick with me and trust what I've got in store. I don't know how long it'll be until I can publicly post content about Loki, but just know that as soon as the NDA lifts, I'll be making all sorts of videos about it. Thanks for watching! If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. I've never attempted something like this before, and this video is basically a time capsule of everything I've done for the last 8 years. If you liked the video and you haven't already, feel free to subscribe and leave a like to show me that I'm on the right track. I really enjoy this whole content thing, so I hope to see you again soon. This has been Stevenator, and I'll see you later.